Hi, welcome to my new video series. This is the Confident Inspirational Women Across the Globe video series. And I am Khristee Rich, and I am your host. And today I'm very excited to announce our guest today, which is Alex Bratty. And she's visiting us from Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am the founder and owner of The Dancing Curtain. I am also a visibility and confidence coach for entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs to boost their confidence, to grow their visibility, and to show up big in the world. My mission in life is to spread joy, to empower women, and to help people to reach their full potentials and their talents and live a life beyond their wildest dreams. So today, welcoming Alex. So Alex, thank you so much for joining us today. And how's everything in Las Vegas?
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you for having me, Khristee. It's really fun to be here. And I see your beautiful backdrop. You're obviously having a wonderful day
Yes, it's
where
beautiful.
you are. And yeah, and here it's starting to cool off. Our triple digits are dropping and it's starting to be a little bit better so we can be outside more where I am.
Okay. Yes, normally you're always hot in Vegas, aren't you? I still haven't been there yet.
Yes. Yeah, don't come in the summer. You definitely don't want to be here in the summer, but
Okay.
any other time of year, it's beautiful, great weather, but the summer, yeah, you definitely want to avoid those triple digits.
Okay, good to know. But at least you have lots of swimming pools in case I am there in the summertime.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, I'm going to start us off by reading your bio so people have a little bit of background about you in case they're
Sure.
not familiar with you. So, Alex Bratty is a business and success coach. With almost 20 years of business experience, Alex has a track record of success that includes an MBA, management level in a Fortune 500 company, partner in a multi-million-dollar firm, and owner of a six-figure coaching and consulting company. Alex works with female entrepreneurs to help them nail their niche, master their message, and put an effective marketing strategy in place so they can stop the solopreneur struggle and start thriving in their business. That sounds fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful. So happy to
Yes,
have you on the show.
it's great to be here. And yes, we all want to be thriving rather than struggling, right?
Yes,
That is the
absolutely.
goal.
Definitely the goal. Definitely the goal. So, to start us off, if you could tell us a little bit about your personal background, your personal story. I know you're originally from Ireland, and if you can tell us how you got here to the US and became a thriving coach.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And like anyone's story, right? It's been a winding road. It definitely
Yes.
hasn't been sort of a straight line highway. So you're right. I was born and raised in Northern Ireland. Doesn't sound like it anymore because I've been in
Yes.
the States. I mean, it'll be 20 years next year. So
Wow, okay.
over time, my accent has just drifted away. But now that you know that, you probably pick up a few words
Okay, I'll
that
listen
I
out.
say that are got that little bit of Irish lilt to them. But yeah, how did I end up here? So I actually, from Ireland, I went and did my undergrad degree in Scotland,
Mm.
and I actually spent my summers out in the United States. I originally came over for one summer as a field hockey coach because I
Oh,
used to play field hockey competitively. I played for my
wow.
country. And so I saw this opportunity to go work at, basically a kids program and be a field hockey coach. So I came over, I was positioned just outside Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Loved it, loved the
Mm.
people. They asked me to come back the following summer and be a residential director for their program. Jumped at the chance.
Okay.
And that summer they said, "Hey, what are you doing when you leave college? Do you feel like coming to work for us full time and doing our marketing and we'll sponsor your green card?" And I thought, yeah, that sounds pretty good because I don't really have another plan.
Great.
Because across the pond, people they'll graduate from college and they go to London and
Yes.
they get the whatever post college job, but you're basically still kind of living like a student because the cost of living in London is so expensive, and of course you're earning nothing, and it's
Mm.
and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of like, well, I guess I'll do what everybody else is doing. So I had this amazing opportunity. I jumped at the chance. And I figured, hey, I'll give it a few years. It's going to take 3 or 4 years to get my green card. I'll do a master's degree while I'm there. What's the worst thing that can happen? I'll hate it. So what? I'll come home back across the pond and I'll have like this amazing stuff on my resume. Like, what's not to love, right?
Right.
Well, a year of being in the States and I just fell in love. I just
Mm.
knew I wasn't going anywhere else. And so I did follow through. I got my MBA at Villanova University. I worked with that company for quite a while. They did sponsor me for my green card. They were wonderful. And then from there, what I really wanted to do, though, I was working in marketing for them. And in my MBA, I specialized in market research. And I wanted to use more of that. And at the time, I was a total cable news junkie, always watching cable news, always kind of up to speed on the latest stuff that was going on. I thought, how do I marry what I'm interested in with sort of what I'm experienced in? And that was, Khristee, kind of my first experience of following what you want to do and just finding a way to make it happen, right? Rather than like squashing yourself into a box, right?
Yes.
It was like, okay, I'm so engaged in this, like, there's got to be, cable news has got to need research, right? Well, of course they do. They're a TV channel. There's TV channels, right? They're doing all kinds of research, right?
Yes.
So I had no experience whatsoever in that field. I opted to take an internship, which was kind of weird to do that at that point in my life because I was already like earning money. I was a little bit older than the average intern, but I needed an in, so I did it. I did an unpaid internship, and the plan was to either turn it into a paid job or maybe take the experience from that channel, go to another channel, try to get the job there. Happily, it all worked out. I did turn it into a paid position, went on to be manager there. And then from there, I started getting really involved in, much more interested in specifically political and public policy news. And I decided, okay, I want to go into that now. How do I do that with my whole research background? I don't want to really go work on a campaign or any of that stuff. And so I started looking at companies in the Washington, D.C. area that did that kind of work. Found one that I just thought was a great fit. They weren't even looking for people. I sent my resume anyway. What's the worst they can say? No.
That's right.
I got an interview 3 days later. 3 weeks later, I was moving from North Jersey down to DC, and I worked with that company for 11 years. I went on to, I started as a project director with them, and I worked my way all the way up to partner. And so I was a partner in that firm for 5 years. So my whole background, you know, in terms of my professional life has always been around marketing, market research, business development. How do you bring a message to market that's going to connect with your audience? How are you going to then leverage that, right, and have them come your paying clients? And so what happened, you know, I did love my work for a long time, but I started to burn out of it. And I was on the road all the time. And my husband had actually just had cancer. And yeah, a good story though. I mean, he's a survivor. He's very healthy now. But I took myself off the road during that period. I said, I don't care. I told my business partners, whatever. If it impacts me financially, I don't even care. Like, my priorities are so clear to me right now.
Good.
And once he got better, I jumped back into my old life. And I hated it even more. Now, it was horrible because I was away from him and I'm like, what am I doing?
What are you doing
it for?
Yeah.
And so I really kind of burned out of the whole thing. I wanted to do something that had more meaning to me. So yeah, I had these great clients and I was helping them, but not in a way that felt meaningful to me, because often they were big corporations, right? And so you'd go in, you'd do the work, you know, go to the strategy meeting, make the recommendations, they love the stuff, but then it would take them, you know, a year to implement it.
Wow.
You know, or there'd be like, they'd have inside politics and then they couldn't implement it. And it was very frustrating being in that position. And so I realized, okay, I want to do something that has more impact. And that's when I decided to just walk away from that life, which that was a big decision to make, because it really was one of those, hey, you've got it all going on, you know, look from the outside.
Yeah, it looks great from the outside.
Yeah, but I just knew it's not for me. I was just so miserable. And so that's when I pursued the whole coaching business, because essentially I took all that experience that I had and now I'm doing it at a personal level, right? So I'm working with individuals, specifically women, who want to grow an amazing business of their own. And so they're coming from a place of just pure joy, enthusiasm. They want to grow something. And I'm able to bring all the sort of smarts and skills and everything that I've learned along the way to that to help them go faster. And that, for me, that's meaningful work. And that's
so now you feel fulfilled. Now you feel like you're doing what your heart is desiring.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that was kind of a long-winded, answer, but it was sort of the, here's how it all, because and I just want to sort of make that point that, life is not a straight road. We
No.
have these twists and turns, and, even if your viewers are building their business, I mean,
Yes.
yeah, have your dips, right? And you have your peaks and your valleys, and
Yes.
sometimes it's hard to see exactly where you're going. But if you are connected with your why, and sort of seeing, okay, this is the thing that I want to do that lights me up. This is the reason I'm doing it. And you're connecting with that always. It will keep pulling you forward, maybe not always in a straight line, but it will bring you where you want to go, right? You'll be on the right path and always moving into the journey that you want to be having.
Okay, great. Great advice. Good. Very good. I was going to ask you if you have any advice if anybody is an entrepreneur and they feel stuck and then how to get back into the flow. But I think you basically answered that. It's great.
Yeah.
So question. So I love your mission and what's important to you with your business. Can you talk a little bit more about how important it is to find your niche audience and also to be very clear about your message and have a strategic plan in place?
Oh, sure. Topics near and dear to my heart, Khristee.
Okay, tell me
Yeah,
how important it is.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because, the niche thing is so, I think especially if you're a coach, right? But if you're a creative entrepreneur, excuse me, of any kind, you feel like you can serve anyone, you can help anyone,
Yes.
you want to bring your gifts to everyone.
Right.
And believe me, ladies, you can do that. However, if you try to talk to everyone, you are effectively going to talk to no one. And the reason is because when you go to sort of put your materials together, your copy, your program, whatever it is you're working on, you're thinking of all these different possible, well, what if she's this person and what if she's that person? And so ultimately your copy and everything you're saying becomes this watered down version because you're trying to reach all these different people. And then it's not connecting. So when you really niche down and decide, okay, I'm serving this person, and it really is about getting clear on one person. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but when you're talking to one person, you actually connect at such a level, and you do then ultimately connect with lots of people who profile as that person. So when you get really clear on that one person, and you get really clear on exactly what are the benefits that I'm bringing for that person, it's scary at the beginning because you feel like, oh no, but what if I miss out on working with these people and those people? But honestly, it's like going through an hourglass. So you've seen those hourglasses where the sand is running down, right? And it starts out wide and it goes into this little narrow space and then it comes out the bottom and it's wide again. That's what niching is. So you're really broad, you get very narrow. You're going through this narrow space and you're thinking, oh my gosh, will I find clients? But then you pop out the other side. And in fact, by niching down, you actually open yourself up to having more and more clients come to work with you. Because now what you're saying, or your message, what you're doing, it's resonating with those people, with your tribe, and it's very specific to them. So when they see what you're saying and what you're writing and what your message is, they're saying, yeah, she gets me. She totally gets me. Like she's inside my head. That's exactly what I'm thinking, right? And that's what it means to really be niched down, is to know that ideal client so well and to know exactly what it is that they're struggling with, what their desired outcome is, and being able to deliver that. And until you kind of figure that out, it's going to be tough going. And, I've made this mistake myself. I mean, and it's so ironic because, like I just explained to you, I spent so many years in a field where it was all about figuring out exactly what the client profile is, exactly the message that's going to resonate, exactly what the niche is. But sometimes when we take a diversion in our professional lives, we're so intent of leaving that old life behind that we don't want to have anything to do with it. And we go off in this new direction. And so when I first launched my coaching business, I did the classic, oh, I'm helping everybody.
Yes,
and
most
it's
people
so
do.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nearly everybody does this. And I learned very fast I had to find a niche. And then I kind of went with the wrong niche. You know, I mean, that's a whole other story in itself. I don't want to get into all that, but I kind of went with the wrong niche. And it wasn't until I actually started doing more research and talking to those ideal clients that I discovered, you know what? This isn't a good fit. This is not what I want to be doing, and it's not a good fit. And so from there, I kind of moved my needle 30 degrees, and I said, you know what it is instead? It's this. Now, having done the research over here, it's this niche. And once I got there, everything opened up. I mean, you talk about getting the signs that you're on the right path. It's like almost as soon as I decided, like, that's where I'm meant to be, suddenly clients started coming.
Amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. So again, you know, it's a winding road, right? It wasn't like I just hung my shingle, I'm a coach, boom, I've got a niche, I know exactly what I'm doing, and everything comes. It's like, no, it's a journey, right? Yeah. And it's going through that journey that you learn, you know, and I'm able to teach my clients so much better because not only have I been on the journey myself, but now I see other people doing it too. I can spot it when I see it because I've been there.
Great. Wonderful. And I love how you emphasize the importance of clarity. Clarity and precision seem to be very important to you because, as you said, once you get very, very clear with your niche audience, then the hourglass just opens up. And I love that image, that visualization of the hourglass and just becoming more full at the bottom once you get very, very clear. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, clarity is key, absolutely. And when you don't have that clarity, I mean, you know you don't because you feel fuzzy, it doesn't feel right, it's like not connecting. You know, if anyone who's watching this right now hasn't got that clarity, it's really about taking a step back and looking at the foundational pieces and almost breaking them apart, right? Because sometimes it can feel like, oh, it's like one big thing and we're trying to eat the elephant all, you know, together. It's like, no, you got to go one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Like,
hey, get really clear on the ideal client, then get really clear on what it is you're serving them with, right? Like, where are you niching into? And then you see where your message is, right? Instead of trying to do it all together, it's like, look at those pieces individually because they really are the foundation and bring them together one by one. And as you do that, they start to then kind of feed off each other. You know, as you get clear on one piece, it starts to bring clarity on the next piece and the next piece. And then the more clear you get in your message, the more you're kind of constantly refining and getting even clearer in terms of like, who exactly is my ideal client that I want to attract.
Okay, very good, very good. And what do you think is the biggest struggle that a lot of entrepreneurs face as they're getting clear on their niche audience or their strategy? What do a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with?
Yeah, great question. Well, I think part of it is what we were just talking about, which is the resistance to niching down and feeling like, hey, I want to help everyone.
Yes.
The other part, and you probably see this a lot because it's part of what you do, is the actually getting your message out there and getting visible. Because there's often a lot of fear around that, right? It's like, what if people don't like my message? What if, what if it's not going to work? You know, lots of what ifs with negative consequences, right? And I always say, okay, how about we switch that around? Let's go what if positive. What if your message does connect? What if it is great? You know, it's like, it's a lot of mindset, right? And so whether it's about your niching down or getting visible and getting out there, at the core of all of that is mindset. And if you're going to build your own business, oh boy, do you have to work on mindset. You want to have personal development, set up your own business. That journey will definitely test you, right? And you have to be working on that mindset and focusing on the positive and the progress. So I would say the mindset piece is something that not everyone recognizes at the beginning, or they say, yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And they kind of put it off to the side. But once you kind of start the wheels in motion and you're dealing day to day in your business, if you don't have that mindset piece in place, like I see a lot of entrepreneurs give up because they don't see the results fast enough.
Right.
They don't trust themselves, or they don't trust that it's going to work. And so instead of, when you plant a seed in the ground, the seed is under the soil. You cannot see it. But you water it. You water it because you know it's there.
Yes.
And you know if you water it, it'll grow. And it is growing underneath. You still can't see it. And then one day it'll pop up and you'll see the shoot. And then it'll grow and you see the flower.
Yes.
That's what your business is like. So when you're planting seeds, when you're getting out there and being visible, it doesn't happen overnight that suddenly you have, you're fully booked or you suddenly have your full program. It doesn't happen overnight. But if you're consistent and you're watering and you're keeping the faith that it is growing underneath the surface. I can't see it yet, but I have faith and I'm going to keep going. Then you start to see the sprouts come up. But I see so many entrepreneurs stop just before it's coming through the soil because they don't have their mindset in the right place and they're not keeping the faith and being consistent in watering, right? In nurturing what they're doing. So that I think is a key piece that often is overlooked and people kind of shove it off to the side. But it's crucial, crucial, crucial if you're going to build, if you're in it for the long haul and you really want to build a successful business, that mindset, got to be working at it, got to get it in place.
Yes. And how important then is it to work with a business coach, to have a coach to support you along the way if you're an entrepreneur?
I think it's super important. And I'd be really honest with you, I'm not just saying that because I am a business coach and because I know you are. Yes. I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm saying it because of my own personal experience with it. Because I did what a lot of people do is, I went and got a coaching certification. I did a year-long certification. They taught us a lot of stuff about how to be a coach. There was one module in there that was about business building. And I thought, oh, well, yeah, I'll get my certification, I'll launch my website, and I'll have clients.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be great?
Right, and you've been there. And anybody who's watching this who's been doing it for a while knows that is just like not the reality, right? It's so not the reality. And so here I am. Well, first of all, as you know, like I didn't have the niche and all the rest of it, but here I am thinking like, oh, I'm going to have this great coaching business. And I'm kind of surprised a few months in that like all I have is a few clients that I'm just doing like dollars for hours. They tend to be local clients too, because I really haven't figured out the online thing at all. Didn't know what I didn't know, right? Yes. And I'm like thinking, well, how is this going to change? Like, what am I going to do? And it just dawned on me one day, oh, maybe I need to hire a coach. Maybe I actually need a coach to help me build the business part of my coaching practice. Like, I got the coaching piece down pat, but one business module in a year, it wasn't enough. Yeah. And so I kind of felt, it was one of those moments where I kind of felt a little silly, where I was like, oh, why didn't you think of this before? Hello?
Don't we?
But you don't, right? Because you're so deep in your own
you don't know what you
right?
don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. So the minute I made that decision, I hired my first coach, and boy, I got to tell you, it was like night and day, Khristee.
Yeah, tell me.
It was just like suddenly I had so much more clarity around having a strategy, because I really didn't have a strategy before, right?
A lot of people don't think they need a strategy. It's interesting. Yes.
I know. It's like, we'll just put it out there and it'll work. It's like, right? I got news for you. I'm sorry to dampen and like be the doom gloom cloud here, but putting it out there isn't enough. It needs to have a system, a strategy. Yes. So since then, I've always had a coach. So I had my first coach. She was fabulous. And then I switched to a different coach just because she was bringing me something new that I needed. And I've continued on with her because I really resonated with her. So I learned a ton of stuff from my first coach, loved her. And then I've been working with another coach ever since then. Okay. And I continue to, because even though now things are going really well, I have a lot of pieces in place, I know my strategy, I know my vision, I'm constantly up-leveling. And that's the other advantage of working with a coach, is that even if things are going pretty well, you can always be learning more. Yes. And in learning more, I'm able to better serve my own clients, right? If I stop learning, how good am I going to be for my own clients, 6 months from now? Maybe I'm good right now, but if I don't continue to learn and grow, I'm not going to be serving them in the best way that I could. So I see having a business coach, for me, it's a non-negotiable investment that I make now. I don't see it as a cost. I don't see it as an expense. It's an investment, and I see it as non-negotiable. When I'm running my numbers for my business, it's like I got to figure in having the coach and the mentor, because I know it's just so crucial. Yeah.
That's part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we just have a few minutes left. So I want to ask you one more question, then go into a little bit more about you personally as a coach. So how
Sure.
important is visibility for entrepreneurs to get out there and to be visible? I know you're very visible, and that's how I found you. And I know you do Facebook Lives all the time. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of visibility and really being out there so people can find you?
Yes, and I know, and you're the expert on this, so I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know.
Well,
But
tell the audience.
it's it's visibility is, if you don't have visibility, you don't have a business. Because here's the bottom line: if people don't know that you exist, how on earth are they going to hire you? And believe me, having a website does not mean you're visible. Okay, you launch your website, it's like 1 in a billion. It's like lost in there. It takes Google 3 months to even pick you up, and that's if you've got any SEO going and blah 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 blah. So the website is not making you visible. The fast way to get visible is by leveraging social media. And we live in a time where there's so much amazing technology. Facebook Live, you just mentioned it. I mean, how amazing is that? I go live in my group all the time. And what it allows me to do is not only sort of reinforce my positioning as, hey, I'm the leader of the group and I'm sort of the expert, but it allows me to build my know, like, and trust factor, because I'm coaching in the moment. People are jumping on, they're asking me questions. I'm supporting them right there and then. They get to kind of sample me a little bit for absolutely free.
Yes.
And they get to sense, like, what's her energy? What does she do? What does she know? Like, and they really start to connect with you. So the more visible you can be, honestly, the better it is. Now, the only caveat I will say with that is you do need to have a clear message. Because visibility without a clear message is just, you're going to be running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It's not, it's going to be kind of wasted energy. So you could be like super visible, but if you're not got a clear message and a clear offer, it's not going to work for you. So the two things are very much married together. But when you get your message straight and you're visible, you're going to take off. Because you've got to be visible. If you're not putting yourself out there, how can you expect anybody to come work with you? So for anyone who's watching who's like so scared about that, reconnect with your why. Because your why is going to be bigger than your fear of getting visible. And if it's not, by the way, you need a new why. Okay. Number 2, there's going to be people who don't resonate with your message. Guess what? Who cares? They're not your people. You need to focus on the people that you are delivering the message to, and they need to hear it. And that's number 3, which is there are people out there who need what you have to offer. And if you don't get visible and you don't put yourself out there with it, you are doing them a disservice, because you're depriving them of the very gifts that you have that they need.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So tell us a little bit about you and your coaching and what you do with your clients.
Yeah, I'd love to. So one of my key things that I do is absolutely the whole mastering your message and your niche, okay? What I've also done recently is, because I've been in the Facebook group world now for a while and been building my own Facebook group, is I've developed a strategy that allows people to leverage Facebook groups and really monetize them. Because there's a lot of coaches and entrepreneurs in Facebook groups, and they're getting visible, but it's not paying off. And they're spending hours in there and they're trolling through all these groups. And it's like, no, stop, because you don't have what we were saying earlier. You don't have a strategy, you don't have a system. So what I've done is basically kind of expanded what I was doing with my whole messaging and niche. I still do all that. It's still part of my system. But what I've done is created this 3-step system that absolutely helps people monetize those free Facebook groups. And most people are only doing half of step 1 and expecting that it's going to work. And it's like, no, because you don't have these other pieces in place. So that's a lot of what I do now, is not just the messaging and niche, but taking it further to say, hey, if you want to leverage free Facebook groups, so you're not spending money on ads, you're not trying to be on a million social media platforms at once. If you want to do that, it's absolutely possible to create those 5-figure months doing it. But here's how, and I lay it out step by step by step. So that's what I have developed over time, is like this very systemized strategy that people can like go step by step and work with me and really get it all in place. without any overwhelm, without the ad spend, and
Fabulous.
leveraging that free resource, because it's an amazing free resource, but only if you know what you're doing in there, you know?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else that you would like to promote or let people know about? I know you're also an author and you have some fabulous books out. Would you like to let people know the titles so they can pick those up?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, first of all, I'll share it because I've mentioned it a few times. My Facebook group, if
Yes.
you'd like to join it, it's called the Inspired Female Entrepreneur, obviously on Facebook. If you just type in the Inspired Female Entrepreneur, it'll pop right up. Come join us because there are lots of like-minded, savvy business women in there. You can share and promote what you do in your business, and there's a bunch of freebies in there that are all designed to help you
Yes.
grow your business. So
And it's
that
a
would be the
great group.
first.
It's a great group. I just want to put in a
Thank
plug
you.
for you. That's how I met Alex. She's fabulous. I love the group. It's very inspirational and fun, and you're very much a part of it, always interacting with everyone. So it's a great group. Everyone
Oh,
should join.
thank you. Well, yeah, you're so right. That's how we met in the group. See, this is how these great connections happen. And it's wonderful to have you in there, obviously,
Oh,
Khristee,
thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'll just share also my website,
Yes.
alexbratty.com, because on there are my books. One is called From Chaos to Clarity, Getting Unstuck and Creating a Life You Love.
Great
And
title.
the other
Great
one
title.
is Grace and Gratitude. So the From Chaos to Clarity, Getting Unstuck and Creating a Life You Love, that is solely my own book. I absolutely love that book. It's a little bit of my story, how I got myself unstuck. But more than anything, it's essentially a roadmap for if you're feeling stuck in your life, how do you get unstuck and start moving again? And it's like the
Beautiful.
shortcut to it, because it took me a really long time to figure that
Oh,
out too.
really? Okay. Wow.
Oh
You really
yeah.
don't seem stuck
So
now, so you did a really good job.
I know. I'm very unstuck now. Exactly. That's why I wanted to sort of, just like I sort of systemized, hey,
Inspire
what I'm doing
everyone.
in Facebook groups to make it work. It was like, I want to systemize this so other people don't spend years spinning their wheels like I did trying to figure it out. It's like, no, here's the blueprint. This is what to do. So the
Perfect.
book is on there. And of course, my coaching is on there as well, and free resources to help you grow your business. So
Okay.
alexbratty.com. It's spelled Alexbratty.
Okay, perfect. And social media, other social media, are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. And on Periscope. I'm
Periscope.
at Alex J. Bratty. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can just look me up, Alex Bratty. What else? I'm on Instagram. That's also at Alex J. Bratty. And on Facebook, you'll just find me under Alex Bratty as well. So yeah, I'm all over the place,
Okay, perfect.
but
Okay,
primarily
perfect.
on Facebook.
Okay, everyone, please connect with Alex. She's a great resource. Definitely recommend highly your Facebook group. And just want to put a little shout out for my business as well. You can find me www.thedancingcurtain.com. You can find me on Twitter at Dancing Curtain. You can find me on YouTube at Dancing Curtain. You can find me on Facebook at The Dancing Curtain. So, thank you so much, Alex, for being on the show today. It was really great to have you, and I hope you have a wonderful fall in Las Vegas. Thank you so much for everyone who has tuned in today. I really hope you enjoyed this show, and I want to invite you to continue to watch the rest of the series. I am interviewing many fantastic women all across the globe who are sharing their inspirational stories or inspirational businesses and many tips for you. So I hope you will continue to watch the rest of the series, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a great day. Thanks, Alex. Thanks,
Thanks so
everyone.
much, Khristee.
Okay.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.